Hey everybody. I have a night vision dream, I guess you could call it, that I wanted to share that I had last night. Well, actually, it was the early hours of the morning this morning, on February the 19th, 2023. And it is one that is timely with the move of God that is happening across the land and abroad. So I will share the dream and then share what God showed me in the dream. And as throughout the day, God began to show me some other bits and pieces as to what he was speaking in the dream or through it. So I'll just share what it is that he gave me. And it's pretty some different parts in there, some interesting parts, but if you see the symbolisms, you will begin to understand really what he is saying, and I will get into that and explain that a little more. So in this night vision dream, I saw it was a large continental air flight. Continental is the word that came to my mind as soon as I was writing down the dream. So it was like a huge passenger carrying continental air flight airplane. Okay. And it was up in the air flying. And I saw a huge, massive cloud that appeared. And there was lightning that began, but within the huge cloud that was directly under the flight that seemed to follow it. The cloud was moving in the same speed right with the cloud. And it was like the plane couldn't get away from the cloud. And so there was lightning, and it was coming from the cloud, but it sort of radiated upward toward the plane, not like striking it with a lightning bolt. It was more of a radiating type lightning, and it went up, and it didn't go down towards the ground. It was going up at the plane. And it was as if the plane was absorbing the lightning. Okay. And it caused turbulence to a certain degree in the flight, kind of jostled around a bit. And the lightning happened again. And when it did, it caused the flight to sort of dive downward. And it actually dived down onto a roller coaster, not just the movement of a roller coaster. It was an actual roller coaster that it just smoothly just went onto the track and was going on this roller coaster for a time. You know how dreams, there's time lapses, so I don't really know how long it was. It just didn't seem very long in this night vision dream. So the plane was on the roller coaster, and then it shifted. It wasn't a bad shift. It was just like going from a roller coaster and onto a 4-lane busy highway. It was like there was a lot of cars on this 4-lane highway, and the vehicles on the highway made way for this plane to travel along with them. But there were a few cars, a few vehicles that detoured off of the highway away from the plane. But most of them stayed on the highway and traveled right along behind, in front of, all around this plane. And as it was rolling full force down this 4-lane highway, I woke up. And what I sense God was saying through all of that is that God is moving. He is moving by his Spirit among the church. but especially the younger generation. And he is, because he started it with this younger generation, and he is radiating his power and knowledge of his power, experiencing the realness and the fullness of it all through America. And his power is hitting and radiating throughout. Okay. And he is shifting, making some shifting and releasing and shaking throughout the body. Okay. Because that's what revival does a lot of times. It shakes you, it brings you to your knees. And so it is not just staying with the younger generation, but it is sparked by them, and it is igniting like a fire and going out, radiating through God's power. So this revival and move of his spirit is moving among the people into the highways and the byways, into daily life, not just a 1 day per week thing on Sunday or on a Wednesday. It is a daily thing. And it's like continuous and a continued moving of God's spirit. And the plane, it was not directed by a control tower or by man, but it was free flying. It was moving in its own power, its own authority, its own move. And it was just freely moving full force, not only in the air, but as it was going through the roller coaster and on the highway. So some people will welcome it. Many will welcome it and travel along with it, in their life. And as God begins to move, and there are going to be others who will move off the path and won't accept it, or they'll be too busy. They'll go detour elsewhere. But those that will move along with this move of God, it's a power-packed, radiating move of God. And it's not going to look like what religious people would think that it should look like. It's going to look like a God thing. And it's something that will not be put in a box. Okay. So those side notes sort of just happened. The last few things I just said, I didn't plan on saying those things, but that is truth. So, but like I said, but keep in mind with this shifting, that there may be turbulence, that the enemy will try to bring it down through various things, confusion, negative thoughts, distress, trouble, trying to have controlling spirits over it, to control things, try to put God in a box, that kind of thing. But they will try to bring it down. The enemy will. But God is bringing, he's bringing change to the atmosphere, a shifting, a moving. And man can't stop it. Well, man can, the flesh, people, they can hinder the move of the spirit, but God can't be stopped. His move can't be stopped. But like I said, I pray that flesh doesn't get in the way, that people does not quench the Spirit of God in this move, and let lives be changed and transformed for the glory of God. So there will be a brief time, getting back to some points of the dream, there will be a brief time of, I guess what you could call roller coaster ups and downs and exhilarating loops and all this. But it will level out as the Spirit of God continues to move among the people in the daily life, and throughout time. So also, because the words continental air flight came to my mind regarding the type of plane, I believe that the move of God, it will impact not only the nation, but it will transcend the U.S. borders. Okay. And so, it's hard to say what to expect. I mean, we see things all over the media, the social media. The news is not carrying a whole lot of it, but it's hard to really say how long it's going to last. I believe that there's going to be lasting impact from this, a continuous flow radiating from this revival, because much has already happened and transpired, and only God knows what is yet to come. And whatever God wants to do, I just pray that He, I want it in my life, and I pray that everybody else does too. So whatever God has, this is the end time revival, whatever kind of revival, whatever move, if it's not a revival, if it's just a move of God, I gladly welcome it in my life. And so we just need to pray and cover this move so that lives will continue to be changed, and that the enemy cannot stop it, and that God continues to move and change lives. So that is the dream, night vision. So, and there's been some other confirmations that came in with this after I had this dream and began to share it. My daughter, she had a dream last night too. And it had to do with people transitioning from a church to a lighthouse. So, and there's been other things that people have said that has kind of lined up with the dream, and I come across some of these videos that I posted online regarding Dutch sheets that I seen after this. I had had the dream, and I didn't see those videos until today, later on this evening, actually. So, I try to be careful with the dreams and stuff that God gives me of seeing. I'd hardly ever watch the news and things like that because I don't want to be deterred from what God shows me. And so I try to be careful with things that I watch so I can hear clearly from God and not get stuff intermingled with other things I'm hearing and seeing. So that is the dream, the night vision, and I pray that it is a blessing to you, and that is the conclusion of the dream. So God bless.